All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to LiveStream under the Moonshine number 267. This is Up All Night Part 2. If you remember, I think it was last week, we got into Part 1, and we played the role of a teenage kid who we didn't know a lot about what happened. Some kind of an accident, it seemed like, where our mother had taken us to a faraway cabin in the woods to kind of get out of the house and kind of get over, you know, whatever was causing us angst and turmoil or depression or whatever it might be. Something happened a few months ago. It sounded like something in the form of a car wreck. And our mother went to town to, I believe, get some supplies or something, or went to town away from the cabin, and it snowed, and she got trapped in town, and the road wasn't going to be cleared. So we were stuck at the cabin by ourselves, which we didn't mind. We were playing games on our phone and stuff like that. And then some like kid of the cabin owner, some guy, I can't remember his name, but he was kind of creepy. He kept coming, kind of flirting with us and stuff. And it did give us choices to kind of tell him off or, let him come in and play with us or do something with us. I don't remember, like whatever. And we said, no, basically, no, we're not interested in that. So then we meet a female. I know her name was Grayson, I think, or something. We met a female out in the woods while we were out exploring the next morning, and we came across, I think, a butchered deer. Looked like it had been torn to pieces by a bear or something. And then we came across, I believe, a man that was hung. It was all torn up. And it was about there that we left off. So we are out in the woods wandering around with some stranger we just met, a young gal named Grayson. And our name is Nick. I remember that. And then our mother is still stuck in town. I don't know when she's coming back. I think the next day or something. And we're finding some pretty grisly corpses, if you would, out in the woods. So we're going to go ahead and pick that up where we left off. Definitely check out part 1 if you haven't seen it already. But again, yes, this video does incorporate mature themes, including physical violence, suicidal ideation, medication abuse, trauma response, and visual and written depictions of blood and gore. So if any of those things are going to bother you, make sure you turn it off. Or if you're under the age of 18, you're a minor, make sure you get your parents' or guardian's permission before proceeding to watch. Thank you. Right. So here we are. Oh, we need to load. This is where we started. Okay, load. There we go. So yes, a nude corpse was hanging from a tree, a rope tied around his neck. There was a sack over his head, bound tightly into place with the rope that had hung him. Right. Let me make sure our configuration is still where we set it. With the audio, yeah. Seems like it's pretty loud. Let me turn it down just a tad. Okay. Alright. His intestines were hanging out of his sliced open stomach, dangling almost to the ground. One of his legs was completely missing. Yeah, look at their faces. Yeah, yeah. So I remember when we were playing, she had walked around the corner first to, I think, blood on the snow or something like that, and she had basically just froze in fear. And then his curiosity made him go, it's like, what the hell has her so, shocked or whatever. And that's when they see this guy hanging with, I guess, his gut sliced open and intestines hanging near the ground and a leg gone. Okay, so he's saying this to himself. This can't be real. It just can't. Listen. Oh my gosh. And heck, I don't think a bear did that. No. He was shivering, and it was obvious it wasn't from the cold. It was not from the cold. Alright. We should go and tell, I don't know, someone. Who? The road's been closed and all the phones are out. My dad didn't come home this morning either, so he must be stuck in town. So her dad's stuck in town, his mother's stuck in town. Oh wait, all the phones are out too? I thought it was just mine. I hate to say it, but if we can't get the police up here, we need to, record this. Feeling sick, I pulled out my phone. There's still no bars. It was useless for making calls, but I could still take pictures or record a video. I can't believe I'm doing this, but someone might need to see this evidence later. Ugh. I hit record on my phone. It felt gross, like I was committing some kind of crime. Grayson pulled out a pocket knife and looked from it to the creeping rope. There was a thick knot on the wood by the base of the tree that the rope had been fixed around, and she started walking towards it. Let her cut the body down? Stop her. No, I think that if you come across evidence like that, I think you want to leave it as is. I don't think you want to go fucking with shit. I mean, the guy's obviously dead. He has his leg gone, his intestines are hanging out. I would leave everything just as it is. Wait, there might be something important here. We should at least look around first, I say. He didn't look happy, but nodded in agreement and stepped back. Cut him down, examine the body, examine the ground. I don't know. Let's go ahead and examine the ground. Why don't we check the ground? Grayson seemed more than eager to stop looking at the body. It's actually kind of weird, huh? He pointed to the ground, and I immediately saw what she was talking about. The only prints were a circle of animal tracks around the base of the hanging corpse. There was blood speckled in the snow below, but not nearly enough for a disemboweled man. There's no footprints, but who hung the body then? And no drag marks either. There was also a blood-stained divot where the body must have been set before it was strung up. Why the hell aren't there any other prints? Maybe he was hung before the snowstorm? I looked up towards the corpse, shuddering. Examine the body, I guess. My eyes were locked on the body. I wanted to look away, but it was so horrible that I couldn't. I kept staring at them after they were dead, too. I'm disgusting. And she says, his leg, it's been ripped clean off. And she was right. It wasn't cut off, but his leg had been ripped off. There were stringy ligaments that had frozen like grim icicles where the leg had been torn off. My God. Even though it was night, the ground was still warm from the summer sun. Bree, are you okay? My vision was blurry. Something kept dripping in my eyes. I had to brush it away, but it was sticky. So he's going back to a flashback now. And I think Bree is his... I can't remember if it's... Sure, maybe we don't know yet. It's blood. And I'm bleeding? I tried to stand up, but a shooting pain arced up through my leg, and I toppled onto the ground again. I think my leg's broken. I reached out, groping. There was something laying there, a green shape in the darkness calling out to me like a beacon. Bree was wearing a green dress. I pulled myself closer. There was definitely the shape of a person in the shadows. It had to be her. If only the blood would stop dripping into my eyes, then I could see her. I reached out towards the shape, and my hand brushed against something. Fingers. Bree! I grabbed the hand in front of me, but it was limp. No. Maybe if I pull her over here, I can see if she's still... I tried to pull her close. There was a wet popping sound, and the arm came free of the motionless body in front of me. It slid effortlessly into my arms. Oh my. Horrifying. No! No! Bree! I curled around that single limb, paralyzed by the impossible realness of it all. Now he comes back to where he's at. No! No! And he's freaking out with the flashback. Nick, you look like you're going to be sick. Grayson put her arm around my shoulder to support me. I leaned on her and tried to control my trembling until I was able to catch my breath. Thanks. I'll be fine. Just give me a second. The leg it just got to me. I'm sorry. I'll keep it together. Well, the only other option is cut him down, so I guess that's what we'll do. I'm gonna cut him down. It just doesn't seem right, leaving him here like that. Yeah, go ahead. She sawed at the rope with her pocket knife. It took a few minutes, but the rope finally snapped. The body unceremoniously thunked to the ground in a puff of red and white. Could we take a closer look? Someone strung him up. They could still be around here. Maybe looking will give us a clue. Yeah, maybe. Take off the hood, look at the torso, look at his hands. Okay, so let's just go from the top down, I guess. Take off the hood. I reached toward the hood and tried to pull it off. The bag crackled with frozen water, but remained fixed in place. Okay. The noose was pulled tight around the edges of the sack. Folds of purpling skin peeked out from under the burlap flaps. Oh boy. It's too tight to remove without loosening the knot first. Grayson says, "You don't need to do that." You said it yourself. Whoever did this might still be here. We should get as much information of a record as possible to take to the police. What if the killer moves the body or does something? I handed her my phone, which was still recording video. I pulled at the knot and managed to get it to slide up just enough to slip the bag off the man's head. And I turned to Grayson. Ready? He nodded, still ill but determined, and focused the recording phone on the dead man's head. Do it. The bag slid off the man's head. At first, I couldn't even comprehend what I was seeing. Oh boy. What? Hair? On the back of his head? But he's... If I can see his chest, the body is... Herc. I almost threw up once I realized what I was seeing. His head had been twisted completely backwards. The face, pressed into the ground, was obscured by snow. Oh my god, this poor guy. His neck. Who could have done something like that? Why would someone decide to... The skin spiraled tightly. Bits of beard and spots of acne caught up in that horrible, inhuman curve. Skin shouldn't ever look like that. Now he's going back to his flashbacks. An owl hooted overhead while I lay curled up around Bree's arm. I could hear the buzzing of flies growing louder around us. It's strange, the owl, these bugs, their life is completely the same as it was before. A gurgling moan cut through the air. It wasn't coming from the still body in front of me. It was over in the shadows on my right. Tyler? Tyler says, oh, Tyler's moaning. Hang on, Tyler, I'm coming. Please. I tried to stand again. My broken leg wouldn't hold me, and I fell to the ground for a second time. I dragged myself over towards the noise. My vision was clearer now. The blood on my forehead congealed and ropey now. It was clotting. Tyler continues to moan. I could see something jerking in the shadows now. The shape would spasm and jitter for a few moments and then go absolutely still. Okay, let me turn the sound back up again, guys, because it looks like you can't almost hear it. The sounded like that. Maybe turn music up a bit. I want you guys to hear these sound effects. So, something's jerking in the shadows who he thinks is Tyler's moan. Faith is spasming and jittering, and then going still. Grayson. Oh no, 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 no. She's crying? Why is Grayson there? Oh, get back. Her scream brought me away from the horror in my head and back to the horror in front of me. Grayson, what? She was crouched over the man's twisted head. While I was staring off, she must have flipped him on his side because his face was now visible. Uh-oh, and she's now in tears. Wow. I probably turned that up too much. Okay. It's her dad. Daddy, no, 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 Daddy, Dad. That's sad. That's fucked up, man. My cell phone lay forgotten in the snow next to her as she shrieked. He looked surprised, like he didn't expect to die. What the hell happened? Okay. Yeah, it went backwards somewhere. He looked surprised, like he didn't expect to die, but all those bite marks, why? No, 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 you gotta get up, Daddy. You just gotta. This has to be one of my bad dreams. Daddy, wake up! I can't let her keep looking at this. I went over and crouched next to her. My mouth was so dry it was hard to swallow. Grayson, we need to go. You shouldn't be looking at this. I picked up my phone and stopped the video that was recording. Grayson turned towards me, her face streaked with tears. It's real, isn't it? It's real. I'm really here. I nodded. He swallowed. I'm sorry. I need to go. I need to go. I can't be here. I need to be alone. He stood up, looking panicked. He was looking at anything but the body in front of us. Ask her to stay with you? No, yeah, I'm going to ask her to stay with me because I don't want her, you know, getting in trouble or doing something. I mean, I don't know her. I don't know what she might do. You shouldn't be alone right now, Grayson. Come back to my cabin. We can wait for my mom and then get the police. What the hell do you know about what I should be doing? She was close to hysterical. Not that I could blame her. Her father's dead eyes were staring blankly towards us, and I just shuddered. Just trust me. You think being alone is what you want and need right now, but it's not. My voice cracked. Please, just listen to me. Please don't make me say it. I know what I want, Nick. I know. You don't know nothing about this. She clutched at her chest, and I knew exactly how her heart was breaking into pieces. We're the same now. It's the same thing I've been feeling ever since she lost Bree. Yeah, let's tell her about the accident, I guess. I don't know, maybe it'll make her feel closer to me somehow. This past summer, I watched my best friends die. Yeah, so Bree and that Taylor guy was his friends. I watched my best friends die. I whispered the words so softly that they were almost lost in the breeze. Grayson still heard them, though, and she went quiet, her eyes growing wide. But it was a car accident. It wasn't... I looked up and she stepped back at the expression on my face. The way they looked, it was wrong. Her arm was, and his head was... I guess what I'm trying to say is that after it happened, I thought I wanted to be alone. But every time I am, it's worse, Grayson. So much worse. You don't want to be alone. Not really. She's gonna freak out again. She reached out to me and grabbed my hands. Her touch was so warm and alive. Tears were falling down her cheeks again. I don't know if it'll make me feel better to come with you, Nick. But I don't think it'll make me feel worse, and If I go off alone, then you're gonna be alone too, huh? Oh, no, that's not what I meant. That's what I've been seeing on your face. All them times you've been looking off, you was seeing your friends. You don't have to worry about me. I think worrying about you is just about the only thing keeping me together right now. She smiled, and it was so full of sorrow that I burst into tears myself. Why am I crying? It's her dad that's dead here. It's been 4 months to get over my crap. This is so embarrassing. Come on, let's go back to your cabin. I'm sure I got lots more crying to do myself once we get there. We walked back in silence. Occasionally one of us would take a shuddering breath, and we would lean into one another. She broke down twice, and each time I stood there and let her sob into my shoulder. I better make sure we avoid that deer. Neither of us needs to see any more corpses right now. Yeah, I agree. When we got back to the cabin, the lights were still on. I'd left the TV on in the bedroom, and it was playing a talk show rerun, sorry. I'm glad I forgot to turn everything off. I don't know if I can handle it being quiet in here. I'm gonna go lay down for a bit. I slept real bad last night, and now, well, is it alright if I use one of the beds? Yeah, sure. Can I leave the bedroom door open? He nodded. So long as it's alright to leave the TV on, I'm thinking it'll help. Yeah, I think so too. She went wearily over to the unmade bed I'd slept in the night before, and curled up in a ball, her head buried in the pillow. I pulled out my phone, and I saw the video app was still open. I closed it out, and pulled on a cheery-looking bubble matching game. Bubble matching game, you gotta love those, right? Perfect, I can just zone out and try not to think at all. Hours passed that way. I matched colored bubbles in the living room and looked over at Grayson every now and then. She'd fallen asleep in a way that only a person consumed by grief could. It was a sleep that was both restless and deep, like being drowned at the bottom of a black sea. The sun was setting now, and there was no sign of my mom anywhere. The road must still be closed, like the news had forecast earlier in the day. Knock, knock. Uh-oh. I jumped to the sound and looked over at Grayson. She was still asleep. I went over and closed the bedroom door so it wouldn't wake her. Probably that one creepy guy again. Oh yeah, Felix, that's his name. I forgot, Felix said he was coming over tonight. Maybe he can help. I answered the front door and Felix was standing there. He was a little further back than he was before, probably because I'd almost run into him twice. He was holding an old videotape. Did I really only see him this morning? It feels like it's been longer. Has your mother returned? I picked something up that we might enjoy watching. Oh man, I'm glad to see you. Do you know if there's a working phone anywhere? We need to call the cops. Why? Because of the dead deer down the road? I hardly see why the police need to be called over a thing like that. Anyway, this is a nature documentary about... What? No. There's been a murder, Felix. A man. He was... Felix cocked his head and furrowed his brow in concern. He looked in from the doorway, his eyes flickering around the room as if searching for traces of blood. Are you alright? What did you see? Never mind about that. Do you have a working phone or a way to get into town? He shrugged regretfully and sighed, fingers playing with the edges of the tape. No, I don't actually. The road is still closed, and I'm embarrassed to admit it, but something took out the rest of the phone lines up here after yours disconnected. It's the entire system that's down right now. Shit. Wait, I have an idea. Maybe someone else up here has a satellite phone. We could go and check. Why the hell didn't I think of this earlier?
I guess that means our movie plans are ruined. But what did the body look like? Did that bear kill him?
No, I told you it was a murder, Felix. Somebody hung him naked from a tree. I felt guilt just saying the words. I looked back over my shoulder at the phone. Shivered. And I was disgusting enough to record it. Grayson's own father. I had made a video of her own dad swinging there, and the hood, and Felix followed my gaze to my phone and seemed to realize what it meant.
Oh my, you took pictures?
His voice was quiet, and I couldn't tell if it was more of a question or an accusation. Video, actually. Yeah, I recorded it.
May I come in and watch it? Maybe I can assist somehow.
I really think we should just try to see if someone has a satellite phone here, Felix.
Nick, I know you're in a panic, but think, any one of those tenants could be your murderer.
Oh yeah?
Maybe I'll be able to see something that you missed. I should look at the video before we go.
I think it's his own curiosity more than he wants to try to help with the case. Just saying. Show him the video? I don't know why I don't trust this guy. Maybe I just don't trust him because he's creepy. Of course, I am giving him a creepy voice, I'm just saying. But he looks kind of creepy too, right? Show him the video or refuse. I'm gonna refuse. I don't know why, but we're gonna refuse to show him. Just because I myself, as reading this visual novel, am getting a bad feeling about him. So I'm gonna follow my gut, and I'm gonna refuse to show him the video. You really don't need to see it. I wish I hadn't even made it. All you need to know is somebody hung a man. The police can deal with it. I'll show it to them. He looks annoyed. Come on, man. You know you really don't want to see it.
This is my father's property. I have every right to see what happened on it. Show me the video, Nick.
Oh wow, he's getting mad. Maybe later. I really don't want to do it right now. It makes me feel sick just thinking about it.
Fine. Have it your way, then.
I relaxed. I really didn't want to relive that awful moment again right now.
If you really want to see if someone has a way of contacting the town, we should go. It's already getting dark, and I prefer not to wake my guests.
Well, that's what he's been trying to tell you for the last 10 minutes, dude. You were insisting on watching the fucking video, you sick fuck. That's just my own interjection there. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if Grayson wants to come. He looked surprised. Yeah, he doesn't know about her.
Miss Nash? I mean, Grayson is here? Does she know?
You know her? And know about what? The body? Yeah, she was there. It was her father.
So is Mr. Nash. Oh, that's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Well, I suppose you should go check on her then.
I went to go tell Grayson that I was leaving, but she was still so deeply asleep that I didn't want to wake her. She probably won't be able to sleep like that very often anymore anyway. Not with what happened. I'd better not even bother her. Oh, she's still asleep. Might as well let her, since, well, we might not even find a phone. I don't want to get her hopes up.
Very well. Shall we?
Leave her a note? Yeah, we'll leave her a note. Sure, give me just a second to leave her a note, and we can go. I scribbled out a quick note and left in the middle of the small dining table in the front room. I went with Felix to look for a way to call for the police. Be back soon, is what the note said. Okay. I met Felix outside, and we started the walk over to the nearest cabin, which was about a half a mile away.
Are you enjoying your stay out here?
Come on, man, that's a dumb fucking question. Why would you ask that, dude?
Well, besides the body, I mean. Terrible, just terrible. I still can't believe it.
Well, it does look nice out here now.
So your dad owns this place? Really didn't need to talk about the body anymore, just to have a focus on finding a way to get the police out here. Well, I own the place. Given my age, I find it easier to simply say I am assisting my father. At times, the older guests say, well, an 18-year-old boy is not always respected, you know? It's part of why I hired Mr. Nash to assist in day-to-day management. Oh, and he's dead now. Then he just had to go and get himself killed. I'm going to have trouble hiring anyone new.
So, yep, Felix is already a huge suspect because he was Mr. Nash's employer. So that already puts him as a pretty high suspect. I'm just saying.
His expression darkened as he spoke. Well, that's kind of cold, man. The dude literally just died. You're right, of course. I should be more sympathetic. I just don't know what to risk my home and business on. Well, this most certainly will. No fault of Mr. Nash's part, obviously. It's just a tragedy. Tragedy can make you think strange things. I couldn't stop thinking about the flies landing on their bodies. So yeah, I guess he's right. Strange things. Yeah, I guess, man. This property has been in my family for over a century. We built these cabins, you know. Do you like them? They're very nice. For a moment, we were quiet, and I thought the conversation was over. He passed away pretty unexpectedly. My birth father, I mean. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. He was not the smartest of men. Never really understood what was important. Almost lost everything we had worked for. In a way, it was lucky that he died. I inherited his land, and my godfather paid off his debt, so it wasn't reclaimed by all his creditors. Jeez, oversharing a bit much, huh? So your godfather gave you this place after your dad died. Does he live around here too? An indiscernible look flickered across his face. No, he did not give it to me. This place has always been mine, and no, not anymore. Just trying to sound interested in your complicated ownership story. No need to look annoyed. Thinking to myself. So, what about your parents? Do you like them? Do you? He looked at me intently, as if eager to know my response. Yes, I like them just fine. No arguments, no misunderstandings? They haven't done anything to hurt you? What? No. I mean, sure, sometimes they're annoying, but... Ah, my mistake then. What is this guy getting at? What the hell? I thought I heard you fighting with your mother last night, you know? Before the phones cut off. I was doing my rounds. What? You were watching me? No, not at all. You were just fairly loud. I was curious because of my own experiences. I know what resentment like that feels like. Well, it isn't resentment. He just thinks I can't handle myself. It's not the same thing at all. I see. But of course you can handle yourself. It's what you've been looking off at, right? Somebody you know died, and you saw it. Yet here you are, holding yourself together, even after seeing another corpse. That seems like you're handling yourself to me. Almost got a smirk on his face. He sounded almost impressed. Yeah. He's getting mad. How would you know anything about that? Fake. He raised his hands up defensively. Simply that we are brothers in suffering. I told you my father died, but that was not the whole matter. He killed himself. He sliced his own throat open in front of me. Perhaps he thought I was ungrateful. Oh, wow. Good. If he's 18, then that had to have been only a few years ago. Oh, that's really shitty, man. I can't even... I think you can. I saw it in you from the beginning, Nick. When you threw that door open, I thought, now here is a man that knows suffering. How? How could I tell? Because I know my own soul, Nick. I know it, and I see it here. Oh wow, this is fucked up. He reached out and made a gesture that framed my face, his hand hovering only an inch away from my skin. See, I told you yesterday or the last time I read part 1, I told you I felt like this guy was creepy. Kind of why I gave him a creepy voice. You look the same tonight as you did last night. Now tell me, how can that be when you found a body today? Because what you saw before, it was worse. I know, because I've seen worse too. He paused to take a long look at me. It was ice cold outside, but I was sweating, filled droplets streaking down the sides of my face. You were close to them. They were my best friends, of course I was. Why the hell am I telling him any of this? You can tell me, Nick. I know how you feel. Yeah, we're gonna change the subject. We're not gonna keep talking. This guy's a fucking douchebag. No, I really don't think that you do. I'm sorry about your dad, okay? But you didn't make a choice that got your best friends killed like I did. I still think that it's... No, it isn't. It's not the same. Just leave it alone, dude. Why do you even want to know about all that? Felix pulled his arms tight around his body. I thought we might mourn together. The hurt. You want it to stop, don't you? I thought I could... Well, never mind. You know what's best, don't you? Yeah, I guess I do. We didn't talk for a few moments after that. I looked at the ground, avoiding that piercing gaze of his. And that was when I saw it. A bright splotch of red, the white snow. Felix, do you see that? I pointed it out to him, and he furrowed his brow and thought. From the deer, perhaps? There's no way. This is too far away. I walked towards the mark, heart hammering in my chest. Please, don't be anything. Please, please. The snow had splotches all across it. I turned on my phone's flashlight to get a better view in the twilight. It's prints, like there were by the deer. No, like a bear print or something? Bear claw? Felix stepped next to me, taking a protective stance as he surveyed the marks in front of us and glanced up at the sky. The bear? Are those marks fresh? So he thinks it's bear, okay. I looked more closely at them. Some were half filled with fallen snow, and the blood had frozen and crystallized. I could have pulled an entire frozen hunk out of the ground if I had wanted to. I think they're from last night, which means this blood is as well. At least that means we're safe for now. Wait, is that another one? I looked over to where he was pointing, and he was right. There was another bloody mark there, and the prints were prowling right towards it. This must be where Grayson's dad was attacked. At least I hope it was. I'm not so sure, Nick. There's also a third one, and the prints, aren't they moving towards the cabins, not off into the woods? Oh boy. Now that we had reached the second mark, I could also see the third one along with the roof of another cabin over a snowdrift. He's right, whatever caused these prints is walking towards that cabin and away from the woods. Felix kneeled down next to one of the closest marks. He picked up something and showed it to me. A shattered piece of bone, covered in bite marks. The more I look at this, the more I think, those prints? Nick, does it look like a bear to you? I wouldn't exactly call myself a bear expert. He sighed and turned back towards the cabin. Well, never mind. I suspect we might find out more of an answer there. He gestured towards the building, and and I felt a shiver run down my spine. The prints and the bloody marks. It's all going that way. We could just go back, you know? Yeah, I don't think he wants to see another grisly murder fight. Not after what he's all seen. Oh no, I don't think there's any going back now. Besides, I have to check on my guests. If something has happened, well, I would have to be the one to report it, wouldn't I? He didn't wait for my answer, just stood up and walked around the snowdrift that was blocking the cabin from view.
So my thought here, guys, is that this Felix guy is coming off as kind of a creep. He'll probably be alright or a hero or something at the end of the story, because a lot of these visual novels and even movies and everything like that, it seems like they always try to portray some guy as like the murderer or make you think somebody's creepy and he's a suspect. And when, you know, that it all ends, it turns out that he's actually a good guy. So that's probably what's going to happen here, I would think, but I don't know. Anyway, so he's walking towards the cabin. Crap, I can't just leave him. Ugh. I walked up to the cabin to look around. There was an SUV covered in a mound of snow parked in front of the building. And when I got there, Felix was surveying the door from about 5 feet back. Look at the SUV. This car must have been parked here since before the storm. The SUV had a vanity plate, sorry, Jesus. The SUV had a vanity plate that read, Hunter Maw, surrounded by a frame with a little deer printed all over it. What's that supposed to mean? Hunter Mom? Kinda tacky. Look at the cabin door. The door was hanging open, hinges creaking softly at every gust of wind. Felix was eyeing it, looking concerned. You don't have to... He pushed on the door hard enough to send it flying open. The already battered top hinge gave way and the door moaned as it thudded to a lopsided halt against the wall. Ugh! I gagged as deeply unpleasant metallic tang filled my nose and mouth. So he smells a deeply unpleasant metallic tang. Is that blood? I know the smell. And he goes back to whatever happened to him. Past. It had to have been at least 6 hours since the crash, and the sun was starting to rise. Tyler and Bree lay on either side of me, and each minute of growing daylight was a new torture. Help! I wasn't shouting anymore, just whispering the words every time I thought I heard someone drive by me on the road. I tried to climb up the embankment a few hours ago, but I couldn't stand on my leg, and I could feel the bone grinding whenever I tried. It was hugely swollen now and pulsed unpleasantly every time I took a breath, constricted by my jeans. If I'm here much longer, I think there's a utility knife in my glove box, if I can even get to that. I would have to climb over Bree to get to it. She was lying motionless against the overturned car, her body half crushed under the hood. Oh my god, this poor kid. They had both gone rigid. I could smell something more foul starting to whiff from their bodies. Oh my god. What? Am I hearing things? I turned my head towards the road and saw a man standing there with a bike. Hang in there. I'll get help. Sure, help. I'll just stay down here for what, another hour? Maybe the rest of my life? My hands were brown and crusty with dried gore. I stared down at them and said nothing. Now he's back to where he's at. Felix pulled at a handkerchief and pressed it up against his nose and mouth so to not breathe the rancid air. He doesn't have another. I can ask, but do you happen to have another one of those? Ah, yes, I do. Here. He produced a second cloth from his pocket and handed it to me. It smelled old and dusty, as if it had been kept in the back of a wooden drawer and never used. Still, it was better than breathing the unfiltered air in here. Felix stepped inside, and I followed close behind him.
Oh, man. Is that a body? It was hard to tell. It had been so mangled. Hunks of flesh were scattered across the floor. I'm glad Grayson isn't here to see this, but she's alone now, and there's more than one body. I don't know who this is. Nobody was renting this cabin out. Oh man. Alarmed, he swiftly walked over to take a closer look. I'll look at the cabin. The whole cabin was in ruins, blood arced up on the walls, and there were claw marks gouged into everything. I could see an array of pock marks next to the front door. Something glimmered inside one of them, and I picked at it. Metal? It's pretty messed up, but not bloody. I'm glad my mom got stuck down the mountain. The only way this could get worse is if she was here. Oh no, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Like, they don't even know who this is in this cabin. What kind of bear just comes into a cabin and rips everything up like this? Well, I appreciate your interest in the decor, but we have more pressing things to examine here. He gestured towards the corpse. Yeah, Felix, I can't imagine why I wouldn't want to look at that right away, right? Examine the body. I hope it's not his mom. I followed Felix over to the corpse. Alright guys, and with that, before we find out who or what this corpse is, what kind of shape it's in, we are going to go ahead and wrap this up right here. We'll probably try to continue this onward in the next live stream under the Moonshine, which I'll probably try to do Friday night. So we'll leave that for live stream under the Moonshine number 268. This is getting good. We want to find out what or who this body might be. Could it be his mother? That's the question on my mind. And I think this is a good spot to save right now. We've already gone like 15 minutes longer than the first part. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure you comment down below on my YouTube video. I want to thank you guys for watching. This has been Zach79, and we'll see you in the next video, everybody. This is actually getting pretty good. I like it. I'd love to know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace.